Hey, what's up everyone? The Dan Sandwich here, and I am back in automation and BeamNG Drive. And in today's video, what I'm going to be doing is taking a closer look at the different race tire options that became available in the latest update, the Ellisbury update for automation. They added a bunch of different race tire options, and I wanted to test them out. But first, we need to build a race car. So what I was thinking was something a little bit different than what I normally do with race cars and performance cars. Normally I go mid-engine and then usually like all-wheel drive, but today I wanted to build something that was front engine rear-wheel drive. I don't know, something a little bit different. I kind of like this body. It kind of reminds me of a couple different cars and stuff like that. So let's do this one with the 96-inch wheelbase. This is the 2005 coupe. Does the Villain B? That's interesting. Yeah, let's go with this. I think it's a pretty decent. Yeah, we can make a race car out of this. Let's go. I'm thinking partial carbon fiber, monocoque, and we're gonna do a carbon fiber chassis as well. This is gonna be definitely a purpose-built race car, I'm thinking. And then a front longitudinal engine. Let's go double wishbone in the front and in the rear as well. Let's go +5 quality on basically everything here. Kind of keep it consistent. Although, let's go +10 quality, because when I was doing my testing previously, the Testarossa car that I built, the fastest version of that was, at least around the racetrack, the fastest version of that was the +10 version, I think, if I remember correctly. Anyway, let's let's do aluminum billet engine block here. I'm thinking I wanted to do a 90-degree V6, and I'm thinking a little bit larger V6 here, a 3.5 liter. Yeah, there you go, 3.5 liter. Dual overhead cam, 4 valve per cylinder, an aluminum head, and then we're doing plus. I think for the engine, let's just do +5, because I don't want it a crazy powerful engine, because I want it to be controllable still. I want it to be a race car, but I don't want it to be like insanely powerful necessarily. So for the crank, we're gonna go with a billet steel crank. We're gonna do forged light conrods, forged light pistons, and then we're gonna use balance shafts for the balancing mass, and then +5 on the engine. We're gonna get to all that here in a little bit. Let's just bump up the quality though. Twin turbo, I'm thinking. With smart boost, why not? Let's get a little bit larger intercooler. If I can get around 600 horsepower, that's kind of what I'm aiming for as well. Direct injection per cylinder, race intake manifold. That makes sense. Should we use race fuel? I don't know. Let's use an ethanol blend. Yeah, that's probably E100 ethanol. That seems pretty realistic for a race car. Tubular race headers, dual exhaust, no bypass valves, no muffler or catalytic converter, and we are already at 643 horsepower before we're doing any extra work here. And we can rev pretty high. So let me get this engine. Oh, let me bump up the quality. I don't know if I bumped up the quality everywhere. Yeah, I did. Let me work this engine into shape, I guess, and get it to a place where it's going to work well. The conrods are experiencing stress, so maybe I need to take a better look at those and use forged conrods instead of forged light conrods. Yeah, it's probably pretty good. Yeah, because that can take a higher horsepower number. I said 600 horsepower, but it's probably going to be closer to 700 now that I'm looking at it. I didn't have to do too much work to the engine because it was already fairly powerful. We got to 724 horsepower which is pretty powerful. It revs up to 8,700 or 8,600 RPM, but it peaks out at 8,000. Pretty decent power curve. I probably could have done a little bit more work to this. I just didn't want it to be too powerful because I want to still be able to control the car relatively well. Really well. I really want this car to handle well because again, this is a tire test first, and then everything else kind of second. All right, let's see if I can extend the wheel arches a little bit, flare out the fenders even further. That's good though. It's already fairly wide. I'll get to doing the body and designing the car here in a little bit. Let's go to drivetrain. It's gonna be rear wheel drive, and then I'm thinking a sequential transmission. Let's say 6-speed to start, and then clutch race LSD. Yeah, I was going with. I'm glad they added a lot more race parts as well. There's even a race interior option now, which is cool as well. So yeah, this is where we're going to focus a lot of our attention in this video, is the tire type. So I'm going to make the same car here, and I'm going to test every single one of these tire types to see which one gives me the best results. So we have drag, soft, medium, hard, intermediate, wet, and rally. Now, realistically, the soft tires should probably be the best option because that's going to give you the most grip. But we're going to find out. Just going to see how it goes. And I'm going to try to keep everything exactly the same between each car. So it's going to be the same car but different trims. Which is how I'm going to achieve this. So let's start with the drag tires, because that's going to be the first option on the list, I guess. And let's see, does the tire compound affect the width that we can equip on the tires? No, it doesn't. All right, cool. So it should be able to keep everything exactly the same between each version. And maybe I should. Yeah, let's do the soft tires first. So if I set it up for soft tires, it should be the kind of the, or you know what, let's go intermediate. Let's go intermediate to start, because that's going to give me a good all-around baseline to start with, and then I'll just change the tires after that. Let's see, what's the recommended tire width here? That's usually a pretty good way to start. 205 in the front, and 172 in the rear? That doesn't make any sense. Let's go 235. Or 230 in the rear. These are going to be carbon fiber wheels. Go quality plus 10 on everything. Of course, we're doing carbon ceramic brakes. I'm not sure what kind of brakes I'm going to need here out on the outset, so I'm just going to do a kind of a basic up there. Race diffuser, pulling flaps. We're gonna have active aero here because I'm gonna put a spoiler on there in a little bit. Going race interior and 1 seat with no entertainment, and then what's gonna give us the best sportiness? It's electric variable steering. And I know most race cars don't have traction aids. I'm going to do traction aids just because it's going to make it easier to drive. And no safety. We're going to make it as lightweight as possible. We're going to figure out the weight distribution here in a little bit. Race tune on the suspension. Let's see. We got a bunch of things to work out. So let's work all that out. All right, I got most of the stuff worked out, I think. So let's go into the design portion. So I'm going to start designing this car, and I will check in with you after I have completed that. All right, and here we are. This is the race car that I designed. I think it looks pretty cool. But again, this is mostly so I could have a platform to test the tires and stuff. So, yeah, I'm gonna export this into BeamNG Drive, and I'm gonna make a version with each of the different tire options. So I need to come up with a name for this. Let's see. All right, so I named it the Solara Mischief. I don't know. I feel like that's a pretty cool name. And yeah, this is the race intermediate because that's where we're testing the race intermediate tires for this one. But I'm gonna export this one and I'm gonna clone it a bunch of times and put different tires on it. And I'm gonna see what difference it makes in BeamNG Drive. Once and for all. Well, maybe not for all, but for this version of the game. All right, I am in BeamNG Drive in the Solara Mischief race car that I built. I realize now the body reminds me a little bit of like the Scion TC or like the maybe a little bit of like Hyundai Tiburon for things. So it probably should have been front wheel drive, but it isn't obviously. That's fine. It drives pretty well. This is the soft race tire version, which should have the most grip out of everything. Might have to turn down the game volume a little bit because this car is quite loud. I did also reduce the amount of horsepower in this car as well. So originally it had like 730 horsepower. That was way too much. It was way too hard to control. It was just spinning out constantly. There's no way to like get it to not just like there's no way to get it to stay under control. I missed my braking zone completely there while I was talking about it. So yeah, I reduced the horsepower. I took the turbos off the engine, but even naturally aspirated, I was still able to get the car up to like 540 horsepower. So it's a pretty healthy horsepower figure, I feel like, for something like this. I remember looking, it weighs a lot less than you'd expect. It's very, very lightweight. That helps as well. So it's a little bit twitchy, you know. I probably should have spent more time trying to make the car handle the best way possible, since this is like a handling test for the tires. But you know, it's fine. It's totally fine. I think it definitely looks the part. I feel I'm gonna miss my braking zone again because I was talking. I actually managed to brake in time there, probably because of the very sticky race tires. But yeah, so I built. I didn't not that I built, but I took the same car and I cloned it a bunch of times, put different race tires on it. So I have what I think I ended up with like 8 different versions of the same car. If I remember correctly. It drives really nicely though. You know, it definitely handles very well. It's very fast. But yeah, this is the soft race tire version, and then I have one for every other race tire variant. So I was kind of debating back and forth whether I should use the regular automation test track that I always use or go with a different track. And I'm just going to stick with the automation test track. It's the one I know the best. So I feel like it's going to be the most appropriate handling test. Plus, you'll be able to see how this car stacks up against the other cars that I built. So I'm going to do the handling. I'm going to do the test at the automation test track in each tire version, like each version of the tires. And then I will also go to the drag strip too, because I want to see if the drag tires actually make that much of a difference as well. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the time trial. I just explained this. I'm just going to do it now. All right, so I'm going to start off in the medium race tread tire version of the car. This is the blue one here. And I'm at the automation test track, the short track version of it. So it has the first half of the, well, I guess the first third of the regular automation test track, and then it kind of cuts off into the handling circuit, and then it comes back onto the main straight of the regular one. So a shorter track. I got a lot of cars to test, so I wanted to make it go a little bit quicker, and because we are mostly concerned with like how the handling differences between the different tires, I feel like it's a more accurate test, and then it's going to be easier to see the difference in the results between the different versions of the car. So that's why I decided to go with the handling circuit. Starting off again in the medium race tires. I have sport mode turned on. This car does get pretty hard to handle with traction control completely off. Even they're slipping out a little bit, as you can probably see. But yeah, I was driving on the soft tires first, so the medium ones definitely a little bit less sticky, a little bit less grip. I can tell already just from driving it. Oh, try not to get it too far on the bank. The other thing that's different about this track here, yeah, you go in the handling circuit, so there's a little bit of banking action here. Definitely not the fastest way to take this section. I'm not nearly as familiar with this part of the track as I am with the rest of the automation test track. But yeah. Again, this car is super lightweight, so it's probably too much horsepower in this thing. So first off here we have the medium tire. Okay, this is going to be hard to tell what's what. I'm now realizing. But this is the medium tire one. So that was 109.16. I might have to keep track of this separately. But 109.168 is the time there for the medium tire one. So this is actually the medium one. I made a mistake. The last one was the intermediate race tires. This is actually medium. So this should be a fair amount more grippy, because the intermediates are usually meant for like there's some like wet track elements and stuff like that. No, I can already tell this is way more grip than the intermediate one. Yeah, this handles so much better. So I feel like they must have done a pretty decent job modeling some of the different tire characteristics. I just wonder how much a difference is going to be between like the medium, soft, and hard tires, because those should all be pretty similar. You know, the varying degrees of difference there, but they should all be pretty similar. So let's see, does this have a faster time? Much faster, like 5 seconds faster. So that's the medium, the actual medium race tires. All right, this is the hard race tire version, so this should have a little bit less grip than the medium tires. So I expect maybe a little bit slower time out of the hard compound. Oh yeah, definitely less grip than the medium compound, I can already tell. By the way, it's kind of slipping out there. Definitely not as... Oh, geez. Went into a little bit of a slide there. Definitely a bit of a slide there, huh? I wonder if these would make for good drift tires. Because you want, like, drift tires to be kind of sticky, but, like, you still want to be able to slide out a bit. So maybe that would be good for, like, a new drift car build. After I did a drift car build already, and I got a pretty helpful comment on that video about, like, how to properly make a drift car. So, you know, when I made that car originally, I didn't exactly know what I was doing. But this was actually slower than the intermediate. Now, I feel like some of that was on me. I think I made a few more mistakes there, but it definitely drove similar to the intermediate compound. So that's interesting. I wonder I don't know. I wonder how much they went into the different tire modeling, because I know like hard race tires are supposed to last longer than medium race tires and things like that. That might have further testing. I don't know how much, like how to even test that without like just like putting a weight on one of the like the forward key or whatever. I never use a keyboard for BeamNG, but like, or putting a rubber band around my controller trigger and seeing how that goes. I wonder, I might have to do that in the future. All right, this is the wet race tire version, so it should, in theory, have the slowest time that we've tested so far, because it should have the least amount of grip. So that'll be interesting to see. I'm kind of saving the soft compound one for last, because I feel like it's going to be the best. I want to save the best for last. And it'll be a little nice little palate cleanser for me, because I'm going from like less and less grip to more grip. This actually, I feel, handles maybe a little bit better than the hard and intermediate ones. It definitely does still slide out a little bit, but I feel like it's a little bit more controllable than the other two in that aspect. I wouldn't be surprised if this actually had a little bit faster time, but oh no, it is actually going to be the slowest. Not by a lot, but definitely a little bit slower than the hard race tires. That's interesting. Again, I could definitely tell a difference. It didn't seem like it was that much slower, but it was a little bit slower than the hard tires and the intermediate tires. All right, this is going to be interesting. This is the rally race tire compound, and yeah, I'm spinning the tires quite a bit. Oh yeah, there's like no grip here. That's really funny. Oh yeah, this thing's really sliding. Alright, that makes sense. Now, it would be really cool too if, like, in the future updates, we would get, like, I just said ass. If we got, like, gravel rally tires, snow rally tires, tarmac rally tires, that would be really cool. Oh no, am I gonna crash this? Almost crashed it. I'm just gonna keep going. Yeah, rally tires are definitely a lot less grip, which I'm not surprised. But I do find that interesting that they definitely were able to model that quite a bit differently than the other race tires. Like, I'm getting wheel spin driving completely straight. That was a lot slower. I mean, granted, I did almost crash there. I almost should do that again, but I'm not. It's fine. It definitely proves the point. All right, this is the drag tire version. This should have the least amount of grip out of all of them. Oh my goodness! I almost rolled it! That's crazy. Why is it just ready to roll over? That's nuts. I mean, this is way more easy to handle than the rally tire version. That's for sure. I mean, it does have grip. It just doesn't want to turn without rolling over. Well, it doesn't help that I went up on the curb there. Man, it keeps... Like, as soon as you turn it, it tries to roll over. That's so weird. This isn't going to be a slow time at all. What? That was the second fastest time. So as long as you can keep the car from rolling over, you can put down a really fast time with drag tires. That's nuts. That shouldn't be possible, but I guess that's how it's going to be. All right, last and probably not least, the soft race compound version. This should be the fastest, I'm hoping. Because when I was testing it, it definitely seems like it had the most amount of grip. Oh, this wants to roll over too. Maybe it's just this car's really like hard suspension. Oh, it took that turn really nicely. Yeah, this is going to be a fast lap. This is going to be a really fast lap. 102. So 2 seconds faster than anything else. So that definitely lives up to my expectations. Super fast time. All right, great. That was not that surprising. You know, the soft is the fastest. That we kind of expected. Medium being the second fastest also makes sense. The drag tires, though, that was a big surprise. Wow. I mean, not only was it fast, but the way it almost rolled over at every turn was very interesting as well. It's just like when you get the power down, it just goes. But you really have to be deliberate with how you do that. So that's really interesting. And then we have the intermediate tires beating out the hard tires, which I think some of that is user error. And then the wet tires being just behind the hard and intermediate tires makes a lot of sense, with the rally tires being the worst, which also makes sense. I mean, they're not meant for, you know, track driving. It's more for off-roading. So that all makes sense. It's just the drag tires being as good on the racetrack as they are was very surprising. But now we have to try all this stuff out at the drag strip and see how much difference the drag tires actually make there. All right, to start, we are back in the soft race tire version. So we're gonna go. I think I'm just gonna go in reverse order of their finish at the track. Does that make sense? I don't know. Sure, why not? So let's go soft. Well, no, I'm gonna go. Never mind. All right, so I'm gonna go soft, medium, hard, intermediate, wet, rally, drag. That's the order I'm gonna go in. So there we go. All right. Let's see how the soft race tire version does at the drag strip. Should put down a pretty good time. This car is very fast. 8.68. Yeah, that's good enough for 6th best all time on my my list here. This is gonna be a little bit harder to tell because it's gonna be grouped up all together with every car that I've ever tested. But 8.6 seconds, that's, you know, really fast. All right, so I just did the medium race tire version. I accidentally, so I paused the recording during the loading screen, so it saves me time during the edit later. And I messed it up, so I didn't record the medium race tire version, but it was like 0.4 of a second slower than the soft race tire version. I'm not going to run it again because the result was already recorded, and you don't need to see it to believe it. It's recording the results. So I'm going to do better the rest of this video. This is the hard race tire version. So 6.8 is still the time to beat. Sorry, 8.6 is the time to beat, and this is an 8.9. So just a little bit slower than the medium tire one. So you can see, just so I can prove to you. So this is the hard race tire version. This is the medium race tire version, and then this is the soft one. So 8.681, 8.714, 8.912. So they are getting progressively slower, which that makes a lot of sense. All right, this is the intermediate race tire version. Should put down its time similar to the hard race tires, if I am guessing. Actually, this is closer to the medium, so 8.775, so just a little bit slower than medium. So it puts it right in between medium and hard when it comes to the drag strip. All right, next up is the wet tire version. So this should be pretty similar to the intermediate. Maybe a little bit faster than the hard tire compound. 8.86. So yeah, faster than the hard tire compound, but slower than the intermediate. All right, this is the rally tire version. This should be kind of interesting, I think, because I was getting a ton of wheel spin when I was testing at the track, but this is a prepared drag surface, so it should be a little bit faster. But it is the slowest time we've tested so far at 9.38. So it's not a slow time still, but it's definitely slower than everything else we've tested with these tires and stuff. All right, the moment of truth. Do drag tires mean better drag performance? Time to find out. 8.6 seconds is the time to beat. Is this gonna get there any faster? Oh, it's so close. 8.615, so it's, what is that? That's 0.6 of a second? 6.5 tenths of a second? 5.5 tenths of a second faster? So it is faster, just not by a whole lot, but that is enough to give you an edge in a drag race for sure. So that's really cool. All right, great. Let's take one of these to the car jump arena, because that's how I like to end these videos. All right, so I decided to take the drag version to the car jump arena. That made the most sense to me. This is a really fun video to do. I find this stuff to be super fascinating. The Ellisbury update, the automation added a bunch of really cool features, and I intend to try them all out. So yeah, if you want to see more stuff like that, subscribe to the channel, because I'm going to do automation content like this. I try to get something like this at least once a week, among other things. And if you liked the science that I did here, a like on the video is good. Liking things is good to do. I don't know what I'm saying. But yeah, let's see. I don't think I'm gonna send every one of these cars off the car jump arena. I don't know, I might. But this video is probably gonna be pretty long. So I'm just gonna take the one that was the fastest of the drag strip. It made the most sense to me. It's going in a straight line, so it should go pretty far off the car jump arena. Let's go. Oh, a little bit of error. Did not intend for that to happen. But it landed on all four wheels. No crashing here. Not yet. Going 200 miles an hour off the jump. That wing is going to keep it from flipping all the way over. But a pretty decent, like, 430, I think, is where it ended up at. And into the pool. Yeah, I might, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to put this up on the BeamNG mod site. If I do, it'll be a link in the description. I might just do the soft tire version. But I was really happy with the way this car turned out, too. Might do more, like, with this car, maybe, like, do a street version of it. I don't know. But, you know, we'll see. And and you'll see if you subscribe to the channel. So thanks for doing that. If you subscribed, I appreciate it. I will see you in the next video. Goodbye, everyone.